You're listening to World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world. And here are your hosts, Aingeal Rose and Ahonu.
You are very welcome. I am Ahonu, and this is my lovely Aingeal Rose. And you haven't seen us or heard from us in a little while. And the reason is because we are in the dimensional shift. And boy, are things changing fast. You may not notice it from behind us, but our house is practically empty. And we're sitting on the last two chairs in the house before we move out. And the reason for that is we're recognizing the synchronicities and the symbology in everything that's going on in our own lives as well as in the outer world. And many people are going through similar shifts. And Aingeal Rose has been counseling people over the last couple of months, actually since the 1st of January, because Aingeal Rose went through, what did you call it?
Dark night of the soul.
A dark night of the soul.
I'm still in degrees.
Yes. And this has been reflected in various ways. And many people are identifying with this. And we've actually run a couple of workshops called Experiencing the Dimensional Split over the last number of months. The first one, in fact, was in Ireland. And then we came back and we ran another one in Bend, Oregon. And we also did it online. And we've had people attend from all over, actually. And in some ways, it's very frightening about what people are going through. And even if you were to take our own situation here in terms of what happens once we move out of here in a couple of weeks, we actually don't have anything planned out. It's like as if it's all very much up in the air. And we're embracing it, interestingly enough. And we're, what's the word you use? Surrendering. We're surrendering.
Surrender, Dorothy.
Surrendering. Is that in the Wizard of Oz?
It is a hello. Surrender, Dorothy.
Surrender.
As it's written across the sky.
Yeah. So if you're going through something like this too, we're just coming to you to say, let's be brave with this because there's something very interesting happening. And it was, even though we haven't come out the other end and we don't know what it's going to look like, and I'm talking about mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, all kinds of different ways. We don't know what it's going to look like, but we're being brave about it. And we're asking you to be brave about it too, because it would be very easy to fall down and crack under the pressure of what's going on in the world. And we're saying, stay with it because there's something very interesting and something very dynamic and something very spiritual and something very deep and something very enlightening happening.
So now you want me to add on to that, do you? Okay, well, I'm not experiencing this as a dimensional shift. I'm experiencing it as a dimensional split.
Right, you're drawing a subtle difference.
There's a difference here because we're really at the precipice of two realities, I should say, of the earth, two choices. And, one has to do with the death earth that we've all been a part of for thousands of years. And the other has to do with an eternal life paradigm that is based on love and cooperation. And it's with the understanding that we don't really know what that kind of love is. We don't love ourselves that way. We don't love others that way. We certainly, as a world, don't treat each other with any sort of divine love, maybe in small amounts and little pockets, but not globally, not in the way we do life, not in the way we do government, not in the way we think about each other.
Not in a collective consciousness, certainly.
Not in a collective consciousness, and certainly not within ourselves. Because the ability to love yourself divinely is a huge part of this. And we're in a world where its core dynamics is based on guilt and punishment and good and evil and judgment of others and measuring and earning and all of that. But we're actually being asked by Source to shift our belief system from that to a paradigm where love reigns, where things flow, where things are easier, where you're loved completely, you're accepted completely. So
and there's a sense of trust in that too. Like I say, we're entering into a sense of, you might call it gay abandon or surrender. And in a way, there's a kind of a beautiful, what would you call it? It's almost like the fool card in the tarot. You know, the way the guy has got all his earthly goods on his back and he's wandering into God knows where, into the unknown.
About to walk off a cliff, actually.
Yeah. But there's a kind of it's not foolishness, but it's trust that there's some great big scheme of love operating that he doesn't need to worry about on the level of, is this going to kill me? Am I going to die? Am I going to be punished? So none of that is there. Just trust. Yeah.
Well, there's a whole lot to this, which is why we created workshops directed by Source actually to help people through this shift, because emotionally, on an emotional level, it's a pretty, up and down road. It's one day of being in deep sorrow and depression about the state of the world and about loss in general. And then maybe a week later, you feel more positive and elated and stronger. But what I'm going through is that when you start to really undo the death paradigm and all the sorrow and suffering and that's involved in that, you yourself go through a very big shift on every level. It's because people are not understanding what's happening to them, because this is something that since the beginning of the year is just happening. It's not like suddenly somebody is deciding, well, I'm going to do all this inner work. This split is actually being felt across the globe by people personally in terms of their identity being disoriented, their belief systems falling apart. We're being asked to move our house. People are feeling they need to clean out and purify everything in their lives. And there's a lot of confusion that people are going through in terms of what's happening to me, because it's affecting people physically, mentally, emotionally, and it's obvious, it's tangible. It isn't like before where we heard about predictions about the future or possible things that could happen in the future.
And it's not a case of going around with a big sign saying the end of the world is nigh either. That's not the case.
No, we're actually in it now. It's physical, it's tangible, it's happening.
Yeah.
And there are positive and negative dynamics to this depending on what somebody does with their consciousness at this point. And I have to say that Source is putting me through every little aspect of this change, not only for myself and to show me the implications of either choice, death or life, but what it means for other people that are coming to me and asking me for help. So, yes, we created an initial workshop to help explain to people what's happening. There's some inner work that's involved in the one-day workshop, but we've also been given part 2 and part 3 by Source, which goes much deeper in terms of the implications of what's happening.
So this is a short little message of encouragement, really, to stay strong, stay with it, watch your thoughts, and choose wisely, in the sense of choose love over hate, and just be careful about what you're thinking. And with that, we want to say we're with you in this. We understand it. And please contact us if you need any help. But also do have a look at the Dimensional Shift workshop that we're putting on. We have another one coming up again soon. So until next time, blessings from myself, Ahonu, and from Aingeal Rose.
Hang in there.
Bye-bye.
You have been listening to Aingeal Rose and Ahonu on World of Empowerment Radio, your station for practical spirituality in a changing world.